Hello, 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 and welcome back to the 12 Days of Christmas. This is day 5, yay! And today I'm talking about nature bathing. And it's a really big thing, isn't it? Talk about the Japanese art of forest bathing. Well, frankly, I don't care what we call it. Getting out in nature, it rocks. It's something I do every day. It's where I get most of my inspirations for things that I'm doing, books that I'm writing, projects that I'm working on. It's where I go and talk to spirit. I come to peace in nature and it just rocks. So if you haven't been for a walk this Christmas, I highly recommend it. And the reason is I'm being silly. I've got a silly mood on me today. The reason is when we go into nature, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no chaos. It's just pure. It's pure. To me, it's pure energy. Yeah. And we are energy beings. So we're not just a physical body. And it's funny, as I'm watching myself on the screen, as I'm recording it, I can see my aura changing, right? We have auras. That is our true self. The body doesn't emit an aura. We are the aura. That is our energy field. And we contain the body. Like we move through the body, right? That's how we show up in the physical world. But our energy field can be vast. And I remember years ago, the first deep, amazing lady that I saw, Carol Cumber, met her years ago and had a reading with her. She said, your energy field is enormous and it's halfway to Australia. You need to bring it back. So she gave me this process, and you can try this yourself if you want. I breathe in my soul to me now, and I do this at the beginning of sessions, okay? And I release all that's not mine. I call my soul back to me now, and I release all that's not mine. I call my soul back to me now. And I breathe, release all that's not mine. And just doing that a few times every day and throughout the day, even, it really brings you back to center, because anything that you start thinking about, if you're thinking about Australia, first for an example, you're going to start sending your energy field there and you're literally opening the portal to Australia. That is how energy works. Okay. It's why telepathy is a thing. It's not something you have to try. It just is. So if I'm talking about somebody, it's emitting energy out into the field. Okay. And it can stay in my field, but it can just travel to that person, which is why if you think a lot about somebody, more in the positive than the negative, right? Because let's face it, polarities here. They're going to phone you. Like I've had this so many times. I was talking about a friend in Portugal, and literally the next day he messaged me, and we don't message from month to month. You know, he wasn't a close friend, but we were close for a while, and really nice guy. But there you go, it works. You think about somebody for long enough, and it's the same with that energy field. It's because everything is energy. So your words are energy, and they will just keep going and going. So it is an invitation to be careful what you think for. But it's why when you go into nature, it's generally very calm. Okay, think about it. Okay, of course, if the wind is blowing, it's not calm. But you go into nature, people aren't sitting on their phones and their computers. It's not like all this energy. Like I live in a town right now, and I'm not, I don't enjoy living in a town. It's bringing me a lot of lessons. Teaching me a lot. It's teaching me about boundaries and choice and a whole lot of things. But I would prefer to live, and I have lived many times, really in nature where there's not a lot of other human interference. And there isn't the chaos of a town, because there's a lot going on. Everyone's walking their path, and there's shops, and there's music, and there's no, and it's like living in a chaos, right? And as a musician, as a highly sensitive person, it can really challenge me. And that is why I go for a walk in the park. We live in a beautiful town, but more often than not, I will drive to get to nature proper. Okay. Go somewhere where there's hills and there's trees and lakes, and just be. And you can connect to trees. You can ask them if you can connect with them. And I have never had a negative energy from a tree. They're usually very welcoming. They know our hearts, they know our energy field. And like I have been the person that cries if somebody's just chopping down a tree without much ceremony, because they're beings, they're like us. But let's know that they have their higher self like we do. So when our body dies, we don't just die, it's same for them. But it is really sad how humans have become so detached, and more, we're turning back the we're turning the tables. I know that all of us are that are doing the work. We're remembering that nature is part of us and we're part of it. We have to live symbiotically with reciprocity. Otherwise, it's just not a happy world, right? We know this. So going into nature, you can connect to the spirit of the land. You can connect to the devas of the streams, the lakes, the mountain spirits. They call it the Apu in the Moonai Key, which I teach every winter. This is not something to be underestimated. I really guarantee you, if you're in some crisis or conflict, go and sit in nature, ask the nature spirits to help you, make your prayer. You can take an offering. I don't always, I just make a prayer. My presence of and prayer is the offering. And I'm not in the great practice, it's a practice that as a Westerner, it's not something we grew up with that you go and take something to. Sometimes I'll take a crystal and offer a crystal. Like I've left crystals in nature a lot of times, not filled with my stuff, just to say, here's something for you. But you can, do it in your own way. Don't do it because somebody said, oh, do this or this or this, right? Do what's in your heart. And if all that is going and sitting and talking to a tree and saying, please, can you help me? Or can I just sit in your energy field? It is so, so calming. If you've never done it, don't underestimate the power of sitting in the energy field of a massive great tree. They are like protectors, and so many times they've said to me, just come. And even sometimes they say, take a leaf, and I'll hold a leaf to me and I can feel the energy from it, and it just is really calming to your energy field because they are, I want to say it's like they're pure. They're a lot purer than us. They're like guardians of the land, if you like, and they carry such wisdom. They've been in the land for years. Many of them can be 100, 200 years old, and they're very still. They're very calm. They watch the world come and go. Come. They often say to me, be like a tree, Caroline, be like a tree, just calm and just let people go and calm and go and calm, right? And just don't get so mixed up in the kind of the ins and outs of human life, right? The busyness. And when you drop into that space, you drop into the timeless, you drop into the field, yeah, you drop into the peace of God. And that is just priceless. So that is the gift of day 5 that I'm offering you today. And again, I'd love to hear your feedback because this is not a new thing. I'm not teaching people new things. I'm just reminding you. And as I share to you, I'm reminding myself why I do the things that I do. This is a practice that I do. I go into nature pretty much every day. I don't have my own garden, and it does force me to go further into nature and find my special place. You might have a tree that you go to regularly, or you might feel called. And if you don't know where to go, I'm going to say, remember day 1, okay? Make a prayer, and your higher self will show you maybe a map, or you might see something on Facebook and it's like, oh, this nature place, da 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 da. Yeah. Or you might just be reminded of somewhere that you thought, I always wanted to go there, and you just don't do it because whatever, right? We're humans. We put things off, okay? Just make a prayer. And I have done this time and time again. I think I've got no real let's say emerging inspiration, okay? No real no creative inspiration. And the minute I make a prayer, dunk, here is a place to go to. I'm like, yes, that feels completely right. And it could be that you've already lived there in another life and you're reconnecting with the nature spirits there. Or it could be that your energy is just working the field, or you might be activating a grid line there. You may not need to know necessarily. I know that I've got called to go to places, and my conscious self, I hadn't accessed. Why? Sometimes I'll ask spirit, what am I doing here? And they'll say, and sometimes I don't need to know. I just go and it just feels at peace. So whatever it is, make the time to do it, especially over this Christmas period, because people are watching films and eating all that food and da 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 da. Da. It's a very frenetic time. Take the time out, and I guarantee you will have more peace in your life. And I'd love to hear about it. So let me know in the comments. Okay, so that is me done for the day. Sending you so much love, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care and bye for now.